Everywhere we are hearing about artificial intelligence and machine learning and all of the wild and complex terms that guise their methods. These methods are permeating from what was previously only in sci-fi novels into now pop culture and industry. This is evident in headlines in scientific magazines, like an article published in The Scientist magazine, where neural networks are predicting COVID-19 cases using just images of the eyes. So it's no surprise that statisticians at Los Alamos National Laboratory and elsewhere are asking the question, can we employ machine learning like neural networks to improve our science? My name is Samuel Myron, and this was one topic of my research while working in both the Computational Sciences group and the Plasma Physics group at Los Alamos National Laboratory. But how does machine learning fit into Los Alamos's mission overall? Their mission is to solve national security challenges through scientific excellence. While this is sufficiently broad, it certainly includes ensuring the capability and the safety of the U.S. nuclear stockpile. However, back in 1992, the U.S. ended live nuclear weapon tests, so we now rely on massive computer simulations and historical data from previous weapon tests in order to ensure that if the big red button is pressed, things go according to plan. There is a lot of subtlety in this topic of combining historical experimental data with computer simulations. That's because if we do need to field our weapons, they would be deployed in environments different from the historical tests. So the simulations need to be able to predict what would happen in these new environments by accounting for new factors like extreme temperatures or changes in the potency of plutonium. But a major problem is that the large computational simulations are so incredibly complex that they take hours or weeks to run. An example of this is a cosmological simulation that can take over 20,000 CPU hours for a single run. This means that it is infeasible to run the simulation enough times in order to tune the simulation parameters such that we are confident in the results in these new environments. This act of parameter tuning to meet experimental data is called calibration, and my research addresses a vital aspect of calibration of using statistical methods to speed up the simulation. And with the onset of machine learning into our culture, I answer the question of whether machine learning is better or worse than our current techniques. Spoiler alert, it's worse. Since the large computer simulations take so much time to run, statisticians so far have developed ways to approximate the simulation with a model. These approximations to computer simulations are called emulators. And I know that's a mouthful. But all an emulator does is predict what the outputs of the simulation would be for any given inputs. The important thing about emulators is that they are orders of magnitude faster than the original simulation. They're accurate, and they provide uncertainty in their predictions. In my research, I focused on two ways of constructing emulators: the tried and true method called Gaussian processes versus the trendy method of neural networks. I tested these two methods by training emulators to represent three different simulations. These simulations spanned cosmology, material science, and atomic nuclei physics. I then compared how well each method performed in terms of both raw predictive capabilities and within a calibration context. In general, Gaussian processes outperform neural networks. I found that Gaussian processes were easier to tailor for each data set, whereas neural networks have a vast number of unique architectures that needed to be tailored for each data set differently. Also, Gaussian processes inherently provided uncertainty information in the prediction, while neural networks need extra computational complexity and assumptions to do so. Finally, Gaussian processes predicted more accurately and gave faster results. I documented all of this information with a formal article published in the American Statistical Sciences Analysis and Data Mining Journal. While I did not find evidence that we should switch to the new machine learning method for the simulations that I studied, I am curious if the results I've found are consistent for larger and higher dimensional data sets. So that's the direction where I would be interested in seeing this research go. Thank you for listening, and feel free to ask me any questions.